Welcome back, podcast fam. Thank you so much for being here. Man, it has been a while since I posted a podcast episode, so I wanted to let you know what I've been up to and what's coming soon. For those new to this podcast has been the place where impact-driven healthcare professionals share their career journeys, and we chat about how to make healthcare safer. I started this podcast to inspire you with the stories of how clinicians moved into non-clinical roles, hoping that you'd see that if they could do it, so could you. My passion has been to help people stay in healthcare, even if it's away from the bedside, because we need clinical expertise to make healthcare safer, so there is a healthcare system for generations to come. And we all know that the healthcare system in the United States is broken, but there are a lot of good folks doing good things to make things better in their own sphere of influence. And I want that for you too. This is episode 48. And over the last 47 episodes, there have been some very powerful conversations with professionals in roles from population health to health tech, to health justice, to value-based care, to performance improvement, to mental health, and more. You can find yourself in their journeys and listen to their advice on how they made their transition. For the last few months, I took a bit of a podcast break to regroup. I moved states last December 2023. Took a new full-time job, and it took me longer to adjust than I expected. Moving is a lot of work, and I needed time to reset. And as I get older, I realize it's not as easy as it was when I was younger. To move states, to move schools from my little, to move jobs, all the things. During that time, I started thinking about how this podcast could serve you better. So this season, I'll be doing more solo episodes. By the way, my first solo episode is number 10, where I shared my journey, so you can go back and listen to that one. But this season, I'll share my best tips for transitioning into a non-clinical role and answer questions from you. I'll share the link in the show notes so you can leave me a voice memo. I'll also do some resume audits to give you tips on how to make that resume irresistible and land those interviews that you've been waiting for. I'll still weave in some career journeys, but there will be a lot more focus on getting you unstuck in your job search. Make no mistake, the job search process is hard. I'm just going to pause right there because it really is hard. And anyone who says it's easy and, has 15 steps or however many steps and you can do it in 30 days or 2 weeks, it just doesn't work like that. I will give you some steps, but it still takes time and the process is hard. It's definitely not as easy as it was years ago. And it takes a different mindset than when you're applying for a clinical role. I want you to see you succeed and make an impact on your healthcare system in whatever way you choose to do that. With that, I'm rebranding the podcast so it aligns with those changes. The new podcast name is Clinician Career Reboot, Tips for Transitioning into Your Next Healthcare Non-Clinical Role. All previous episodes will still be available, but the new name will better represent what this podcast will be moving forward. And remember, I want to hear from you. So send me a voice memo with your question and I'll answer it on this podcast. Until next time, be well. Talk soon. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. For more career transition goodness, check out the show notes section of the podcast. I'll share all the links you need to connect with me and find the resources that you need.